Came here to say who won it from the jump. We came to get exactly what you want. Came here to say that you don't really want it with us. Yeah, we live, you know. We came here to say that you don't really want it with us. Yeah, the sports show.
Yerrrr.
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 What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Yerrrr Sports Show, episode 175. I'm your host, Big Baby, aka the Wise Brother, aka the soul of R&B. And let me fix this up real quick, even though she's not on screen. I gotta put her where she's supposed to be at. At the bottom of the pyramid, we have the voice of generation, Pete Rosado.
Hey, you know what? I'm just lucky that the bottom of the pyramid is usually the foundational piece and the biggest piece, so I'm happy with that. I'm gonna live in that truth.
Nah, I ain't gonna let you live in that truth. Anyway, and at the top of the pyramid, we have the foundation, the queen, 100K, Tay, Air Infinity, all of her nicknames, She got a bunch.
Don't worry, Daddy's here.
Hold on.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler was traded to the Warriors.
Yep, just breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news.
Jimmy Butler was traded to the
They knew
Warriors.
damn well they wasn't gonna let him play for the Shanghai Sharks.
They sure wasn't, but it was gonna happen. So, we're gonna start off with that. Miami Heat traded Jimmy Butler to Golden State for Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick.
Still more than Dallas got for Luka Doncic.
And Josh Richardson is going to the Detroit Pistons as part of that deal as well. So they did need 3 teams to make that happen, right? So the new big 3 in Golden State is Curry, Butler, and Green. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Very interesting team. My interest is peaked.
Mine's is as well. I'm very, very surprised.
I mean,
oh my gosh,
Jimmy's not gonna be number 1 anymore.
Nah.
And now you got Buddy Hield now, and you still got Buddy Hield at the 2. So you still got a very good score at the 2. So you essentially have almost a 4-headed monster now. I don't really consider Draymond to be. Draymond's kind of like in his Ben Wallace, Dennis Rodman kind of era. He's not really going to do a lot, but he's going to do the little things. Kind of like Alonzo Mourning later in his career with the Heat, the Udonis Haslem role, though he plays more minutes in games than Haslem did for the last 10 years of his career. Yeah, and I know, it has nothing to do with this trade, but again, it just also angers me when I'm seeing these trades, and I'm just like, so apparently every other GM in the NBA knows how to make a trade and get back a compensatory package that is actually equal to what they're giving away, but Dallas doesn't know how to do this. And we'll get into that in a little bit, of course, but like, listen, I'm just glad this Jimmy Butler Miami saga is over. It was well beyond the pale at this point. It had jumped the shark. I was tired of seeing the whole, Jimmy Butler did this. He's suspended for 2 games. He comes back, went to practice, did this. But honestly, I do want to say this blame goes on both sides. Jimmy Butler was taking a page out of that James Harden playbook. And it really bothers me, this diva-like behavior out of players in the NBA, because they don't get what they want. So they act however they want. And then fans want to jump to their defense when they get suspended, when they get benched, when they get fined, and all these different things. But they're out here being the ultra divas and expecting for no consequences to happen. Unfortunately, I wish it was in Miami's power to just sit there and tell Jimmy Butler, you're going to sit on this bench until you honor your contract and you stop being an asshole and just play the game. Not shut up and dribble, but like, yo, we don't want to trade you. We understand you want to be traded, but as a team, we also have a right to say we don't want to trade you. So you can either play and do the right thing, or you cannot play and sit on the bench. And because of the CBA and the way the contract structure works, we will fine you a game check for being a healthy scratch, because we're going to get fined from the league because you're not going to be on the injury report. So we're going to get fined by the league for you not playing. So you're going to have to pay that fine because this is your choice, not ours. We'd rather you be out there playing. Now, if we can get a package that appeals to us, okay, we'll look into it. We'll give you our word. But instead, they traded him mostly because they just needed to get rid of him and they wanted to stop dealing with this BS. So he still gets what he wants at the end of the day. And this is what I really don't like about the NBA. Bad behavior still gets rewarded, and it's only getting worse.
No, I agree. I think Jimmy Butler did go off real diva like a lot of these players did, and you know how I feel about Jimmy Butler. But as you said, blame goes to both sides, and I feel as though Miami didn't handle it properly to begin with. Though Pat Riley tried to nip it in the bud early, you also have to know your personnel, right? You have to know your personnel. You also should know how they're going to react to things. But I'm also a firm believer is that other people are not responsible for your traumas and your triggers. So, in this case, Miami didn't have the leverage that they thought they did, mainly because if you suspend Jimmy Butler indefinitely and you keep him for the rest of the season, Jimmy Butler opts into that $53 million contract. Now you're on the books for that $53 million, and you, at this point, don't get the trade value that they currently got for Jimmy Butler. On the flip side, Jimmy Butler made himself very limited to the teams that wanted him. He wanted to go to Phoenix. Phoenix, it wouldn't happen with Phoenix. He originally denied Golden State, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen with that coming up. The fact that he denied Golden State just to now be traded there. I don't think Jimmy Butler
long term.
He would not sign there long term, but he will take his contract extension. Right? Golden State was looking to unload Andrew Wiggins anyway, so I think it's a win-win for both teams. Does this change the landscape of Golden State? Yes and no, because Golden State still has some things they need to figure out. But in the long run, it helps Miami because Andrew Wiggins is still a young piece, a young wing player that can develop in the Miami Heat system, along with Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. And they got rid of the Jimmy Butler problem. Queen, what's your thoughts on this trade?
I agree with both of you in certain capacity. I mean, I don't just think that Jimmy Butler came off like a diva. I believe that this was a issue that was simmering for months and a couple of seasons, that Miami wasn't putting the right pieces around him to succeed. But then also, this is not the Jimmy Butler from the pandemic either. So eventually, somebody had to want to move on. And I don't see, me personally, I believe that they held on for principle more than value. And they kind of knew how to do the business, because now I believe that this trade makes more sense than a couple of other trades that I've seen. It was a financially sound trade, and eventually everybody got what they wanted. Jimmy Butler wanted out of Miami. He's out of Miami. Miami Heat, they wanted some good pieces for him. They got him. You get what I'm saying? Miami is obviously in a rebuilding phase, and now they got a whole lot of cap space to do it. Um, do I think that this trade makes Golden State better? So that's that. But I don't I believe that when you have these veterans in the league, you know, either you, like you were saying, Peter, like, you know the game by now. You know the game. What the fuck was that? You know the game by now. So it's like coming across that way, it should not have gone this public. And it got messy. And it shouldn't have done that.
Couple of updates on this trade, by the way. Butler has agreed to a new 2-year, $121 million extension with the Warriors through the 26-27 season, which means he's declining his 25-26 player option. So he will not only play out the rest of this year, but he will play the next 2 years with the Warriors under this contract. So he did sign a short-term contract extension, a 2-year contract extension there. 35 years old. So as Tay said, not the same Jimmy Butler. I mean, 35 is old, very old in NBA years, unless you are the genetic freak, all ups to the one and only genetic freak, Big Papa Pump. But unless you are a NBA genetic freak like LeBron James is, you're not really playing at a effective superstar level at that age. As Tay said, it's just not the same Jimmy Butler. This is not a Jimmy Butler who is going to carry a team on his back to a championship. But I think what's really interesting here is they did give up a first-round pick, but it's a protected first-round pick. And I'm very interested to see what the protections on that pick are.
Unmute. Okay, there we go. I'm very, very interested to see what those protections are as well. Moving forward, another trade that happened. Valanciunas just went to the Sacramento Kings, but that's not the biggest Sacramento Kings trade that happened.
Knicks wanted him too. Knicks were looking to try to get Valanciunas.
Right, because they're unsure about Mitchell Robinson and Valanciunas.
I should have told you that 2 years ago.
Yeah, but yeah, you said it 2 years ago though. But De'Aaron Fox was traded from the Sacramento Kings to the San Antonio Spurs, not for Chris Paul, surprisingly, but in a 3-team deal, which included Zach LaVine leaving the Chicago Bulls and reunited with DeMar DeRozan in Sacramento. So Sacramento looks pretty good. They still need a point guard, but they still look pretty good with having Sabonis, with having Valanciunas, with having Debo and Zach LaVine. And the Spurs having a young point guard that can learn behind Chris Paul and that can learn with Wemby and the rest of that young core. Spurs look good. Spurs looks like they came out pretty good in that trade.
Yeah, I mean, the Chicago Bulls trying to get younger. I know there's been a lot of rumors going around that they're also looking to move on from Lonzo Ball as well. The Bulls are looking to get younger, which has been something they were trying to do that with Lonzo and LaVine when they got LaVine, right? A lot of people forget that, as great as LaVine was with Chicago, he started with Minnesota, right? He was in Minnesota for a number of years before coming to the Chicago Bulls. It really does a lot, for Sacramento, as you said. They have their veteran point guard now in Chris Paul. You have a man in De'Aaron Fox.
You mean San Antonio? San Antonio.
You have your veteran point guard in Chris Paul. You have your 2 guard who can also play point in De'Aaron Fox.
Chris Paul, top 10 point guard of all time.
Absolutely.
You have Wemby, who's only getting better each and every time. And you didn't give up players like Keldon Johnson, Jordan Schoen. You didn't give up those ancillary pieces. And let's not forget, you still have the secret weapon that is the greatest coach in the NBA, Greg Popovich. And I stand on that, right? I think Greg Popovich is the best coach in the NBA today, right now. I'm not saying he's the best coach ever in the history of the league, but I think right now when I'm looking at the coaches around the league, I think that Greg Popovich is the best coach. And that's on not just like on how he coaches right now, but just veteran presence to me, he's my number one ranked coach. And I think that's the secret sauce. Greg Popovich, a lot like Bill Belichick and New England Patriots, they get you to buy into their system. It is next man up. Everyone does their job, understands their job, and does it well and efficiently. And Popovich has never really, as far as I know, have ever had problems with his players not respecting him or feeling that he doesn't respect them. And it's why it's led to as much success as it has for San Antonio. Even when San Antonio isn't good, they're good. They're sneaky good, even when they're bad.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is what I want to say about NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry is like the bad bitch at the bar that no one wants to talk to because her ugly ass friend Draymond gonna be like, "Can I help you?"
That's pretty much it. And then that's what happened. That's why Kevin Durant didn't even want to go back to Golden State.
He was like, "Nah, I'm good off of Draymond. Not too much of my girl."
Rumors saying that if he does get traded, he might get traded to Miami.
It can't happen now. It can't happen now.
A lot of talk to either he stays in Phoenix or he goes to Miami, but that's really kind of the only place.
If he goes to Miami, they have to unload something. Like they might have to unload Tyler Hero. Duncan Robinson contract is if he goes to Miami, the Suns are rebuilding. Devin Booker's back in rebooking mode, in rebuild mode with the Suns, and he probably acts out too. But another trade that happened, the trade that was heard all around. Well, we'll get to that one in a second. Kyle Kuzma is out of Washington and now in Milwaukee with freak time. I'm not pausing that because that's what they call him. So, and that they send Chris Middleton to the Washington Wizards. They've been trying to unload Middleton for a while. Middleton has been he's just been harping with a bunch of injuries. He hasn't been able to be healthy since their finals run. So it was good to get him off the books, and Washington plans to keep Middleton. Kuzma is a young forward that honestly they need it in terms of getting youth on the team, and it's not an overall upgrade to Middleton. Age-wise, it is. And the Bucks are still coached by Doc Rivers, so I mean, I don't even know, man. I don't even know if this helped the Bucks or not. But
I think it does. It gives Giannis a second option that was what Chris Middleton was. And you still have Dame Lillard. People forget that. Dame Lillard is actually in Milwaukee. That's how quiet Dame has been since being there. Big shot Dame has kind of really gone down. But like, you have Dame Lillard, you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, and now you have Kyle Kuzma. And Kuzma being a third offensive option is actually where Kuzma is the most dangerous, right? I never saw Kuzma as a number one, and obviously Washington brought him in and paid him number one money. Kuzma's better as a number two or a number three because he is a dangerous option when left unguarded or left guarded by a player of less caliber. When he is being guarded by your number one defensive option or even your number two defensive option at some points, it's going to be very hard for him to get his game off. But when he's being guarded by your third or fourth best defensive option on the floor, or if he's coming in with that second unit, like Kyle Kuzma can be very dangerous. I think Kyle Kuzma is going to have a little bit of resurgence. I also think he wasn't playing his best basketball because he just wasn't motivated to play very well in Washington after that first year. They had a great year. His first year there, he played out of his mind. And then I kind of feel like he was just like, you know what? I don't want to work too hard anymore. But now I think this gives Milwaukee a chance to actually start to gain in the standings right now. And it may be what they need to get somebody off of Lillard, to get somebody off. They are in the fifth position right now behind the Indiana Pacers. They're only a game and a half behind the Pacers. And then obviously the Knicks well ahead of everybody else in third place. They're, I think 6.5 games behind the Knicks. but you want to make some way because you're only 2 games ahead of the Pistons, 2 games ahead of the Heat. So you want to stay in that top 6 and not end up in that in the play-in.
In the play-in. Yep.
I think this was a great move. And for an aging Chris Middleton, he did what he was brought there to do. He brought them a championship. Now, ship you out. Let's bring in somebody young who would probably do the same thing that you did.
Who's also a champion.
Right.
Queen, any thoughts on this trade? Okay, cool. I heard you. And for the trade of the century, Luka was traded along with Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers in a deal that was been planned for weeks, apparently, according to Rob Pelinka.
Leave it up to Matt. Leave it up to Matt. He thinks LeBron did it.
No, I've spoken to Matt. He doesn't think LeBron did this. He just thinks this is a dumb trade, which a lot of people do. In theory, I don't believe it was the best trade, but I'll get to that shortly. But for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a draft pick, if I'm not mistaken, right? 1 draft pick.
Rudy Gobert got 5.
Rudy Gobert
got 5 first-round draft picks.
First rounders.
I forget who else it was that got traded. Got like I think that same year's Gobert the year 4 first-round draft picks. The man who many people said was the face of the league or the future face of the league got 1. That's the thing that makes me scratch my head the most.
Well, Danny Ainge wasn't a part of this trade. That's why. Well, he was a part of the trade, and he didn't know. And I'm sure if he knew,
Luka
right? And I'm sure if he knew he was part of helping either of the team get these players, he wouldn't have done it. But Queen, I start with you. Who came out better in this trade, Dallas or Los Angeles?
Los Angeles. I mean, Anthony, no one did. I think Los Angeles did. I mean, Luka's a hell of a player. And and while me personally, I don't think his stock rises though. I think he has I don't want to say peaked, but he is baseline in his performance. Granted, the Dallas Mavericks were just in the NBA Finals last year. And it behooves me to think that they wouldn't want to keep this group together to try to make another run for it. It's still fairly early to tell how deep they can make a run. And I really believe that they beat themselves more than the Celtics beat them. I don't think the Celtics were that great. They didn't make the Celtics look, the Celtics didn't look that great beating them. You know, Kyrie was hobbling and Luka was injured, from what I can remember. He wasn't playing at full strength. You know, and I believe that this trade helps LA stay a marquee team. I believe that this trade helps LA plan for the immediate future without LeBron. I believe that Luka was a good get for them, a great get for them. Anthony Davis was not given what he was supposed to give. He was not as productive because he didn't play as often. Like when he played, he was great. When he was hurt, and he was hurt almost equal to when he played. So it sounds like a fair trade to me.
Yeah, I think it's as Tay said, this was a team that was in the NBA Finals last year, only won 1 game against the champion Boston Celtics. And this was a man that the best player on this team by a long shot was Luka Doncic. Kyrie Irving, listen, I have my personal issues with him as a person, but as a basketball player, he's a very special basketball player, a great player. But I don't think he's on Luka Doncic's level. I think Luka Doncic is ahead of him, right? So you're going Luka, Kyrie Irving, and then right after that, it was a drop-off because after that, your next best players were what? Tim Hardaway Jr. and Daniel Gafford? Markieff Morris and PJ Washington. So it was really the Luka and Kyrie show. And mostly the Luka show in Dallas, a lot like it was the Dirk Nowitzki show for a long time in Dallas. But when you start thinking about the reasons that have been reported as to why Dallas made this trade, is because they were very concerned by Luka's lifestyle. A lot of the same things we're hearing out of like the Zion Williamson camp, not really taking working out that seriously, reporting to camp overweight, consistently playing at a weight that is higher than he should be playing, then consistently being hurt, and usually because he's overweight. Most of it has been calf and leg related injuries, which is usually when you're carrying a lot of weight, especially playing in NBA games. And then, this man was literally on the verge of signing a $375 million Supermax contract. And this is also not Mark Cuban's Mavericks anymore. A lot of people forget this. Mark Cuban is not running this team anymore. So there was no emotional attachment there either. So when you start thinking from a business decision, which a lot of NBA fans don't think of the business of the basketball team, if you are going to mortgage the franchise, the next 5, 6, 7, 10 years of the franchise, close to $500 million in a contract, you want to be absolutely 100% sure that the player you're doing that for is 100% dedicated, is a leader of men, is a leader of a franchise, is going to be the word I'm looking for, and I'm blanking right now. It's going to be the beacon that all other players are going to look towards and follow, and they are going to set the example and set the precedent.
Right.
Hate him as you may, feel how you want about him. When you stepped onto the Chicago Bulls in the 1990s, you knew Michael Jordan set the precedent. This is what was expected. And if you weren't trying to work as hard as me, if you weren't trying to do things the way I want to do them, if you're not as dedicated as I am, I don't want you here. I don't need you on this team. God rest his soul, we all have heard the stories of Kobe Bryant and how he treated his teammates. Many people may not even realize that the entire saying, "you weren't out there shooting with me in the gym," is a direct reference to what Kobe Bryant would be out there doing. Kobe Bryant, who was a rookie, who missed an insane amount of shots in the one playoff series that he played in as a rookie, got off the team plane when they landed and went straight to the arena and straight to the practice facility and was shooting jumpers, not catching up with his family was looking for him. If you guys want to look up the story, his family was looking for him. Team officials were looking for him because no one knew where Kobe Bryant was. The plane landed. He got in a car. He went to the practice facility and he was putting up shots because Kobe Bryant was embarrassed at the fact that he missed that many shots in a situation where his team was in the playoffs. So if you wasn't out there shooting with him in the gym, what were you doing? Kobe was that beacon. And you knew what the expectation was. And we can go through different stars on different teams through different generations, LeBron included, on the Lakers, on Miami, on Cleveland. You knew what the expectation was. We're locking in. This is what we're doing. And if you're not here for this, we don't need you. And I don't know if Dallas believed that what was Luka was going to be, based on what they've been seeing over the last couple of years. His game cannot be denied. His star power cannot be denied. His ability and potential cannot be denied. No one's arguing that. But if I'm going to mortgage the rest of my future, the next 5 to 10 years of my future, I need to be sure that you're going to be on that level. And it is of my belief that Dallas did not believe he was on that level. All that said, I still think they got fleeced. I don't think they got enough for a player of Luka Doncic's future potential, because I think this is a man that if he plays to his potential and stays healthy, will bring the Los Angeles Lakers multiple championships over the next couple of years. And I think will definitely be the reason why LeBron James gets one more championship before he retires.
I also think that we need to take a look at most European players in the overall scope of things when it comes to their development. Luka has been a professional since he's been 15 years old. So if Luka is playing at said certain size or said certain speed, I feel like he knows his body enough. I also don't think because the NBA is different, we shouldn't hold these players to the same standard that we held superstars to back in the day, because the NBA doesn't hold those same players to those same standards back in the day. Because as you said, we looked at Jordan, we know what we're getting out of Jordan. We looked at LeBron, we know what we get out of LeBron. We looked at Kobe Bryant. We knew exactly the work we were getting out of those players, which is why these are the top 3, top 5 players of all time, right? But these players now don't put in the same type of work. I'm not saying they don't put in work, but they don't put in the same type of work. With that being said, about this trade, I believe it was a lateral trade, and here's why. Luka is a generational talent. There's no denying that. But Luka is going to a team with an aging superstar in LeBron James and nothing else around him. Right? It's not like the Lakers made a bevy of moves to get Luka. You got Luka, LeBron, and you got the others.
Right. But it's something to build off of, though.
Yes, I agree. It's something to build off of, and if Luka can learn certain things from LeBron,
I don't think he needs to.
I think this helps LeBron. This gives
This-
LeBron
this
an ability to be able to dial back and
step
not
back.
have to exert as much energy.
Yes. I don't think Luka needs to learn from LeBron. That's offensive to Luka. Luka's been carrying the Dallas Mavericks on his back for the past few years before he got that damn Kyrie Irving. You get what I'm saying? And then once he had a Kyrie Irving, he was able to go to the damn finals. You get what I'm saying? The only thing LeBron could teach him is how to stay in the league 150 years.
Right, but we said the same thing about LeBron. LeBron didn't learn how to win until he went with another superstar, and that's what I was alluding.
But he went with the thing is the Miami Heat not only had Dwayne Wade was kind of and shout out to Dwayne Wade who survived cancer, by the way.
Yes, yeah. He casually mentioned that on his show. It was like
he had liver cancer. Was it liver or kidney? I think it was kidney cancer. But yeah, man, check on your health, man. That shit is real. But no, I don't think LeBron needs to teach Luka anything fundamentally. I don't think that's what it I don't think that's what it is. I think what it is that LeBron needs to empower Luka more than Luka needs to learn from LeBron. I think at the end of the day, just being in LeBron's presence is learning enough. You get what I'm saying? But I don't think that that's the role here. We don't even know how long LeBron's going to be playing.
Yeah, he'll play till he's 50. It's all good.
Imagine. Imagine. But legit, like, I believe that the Lakers came off better because Luka could help usher in. You have the grandfather, you have the father, and now you could have the sons. You get what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, they know that they can't really compete at a championship level. It's been obvious for a couple of years. You get what I'm saying? So now you build around Luka. That's what you do. I don't think LeBron's gonna have a problem passing that torch.
No, not to Luka, because Luka is gonna want to take it. Unlike Anthony Davis, who's a little shaky about it. But as I get to the Anthony Davis side of it, with Dallas got better because now you're putting the man who wanted to play the 4 in his rightful position. You're giving Kyrie Irving the keys with help. You're not just giving Kyrie Irving the keys and just saying, "Hey, figure it out." The Dallas Mavericks still look like a really good team. This
I
is
don't
again
think so.
on paper.
I don't think so.
I I really believe so. Kyrie Irving, 20-something points a game, could give you the 10 assists if need be. Anthony Davis, Defensive Player of the Year candidate every year, damn near MVP. They have the pieces behind him. Anthony Davis has the pieces behind him to where he doesn't have to take the bruising, to where he's not out all the time. Dallas has the shooters around them to make them. But they still have Klay Thompson. I forgot. They had Klay Thompson
my
on
question is, all of that said,
mm-hmm.
why was Dallas sitting at 26 and 25 and well outside of the playoff race, but the Los Angeles Lakers are 29 and 19 in fifth place?
Luka was hurt most of the year, right? Luka was hurt most of the year. So was most of the other players. Their problem has been health, not talent.
Oh, you're gonna have Anthony Davis, right now, 2/5 of their starting lineup is out. PJ Washington is out. Anthony Davis is out. Caleb Martin, who's your number one power and small forward off the bench, is now out.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing Kyrie, Klay, PJ Washington, Anthony Davis, and Daniel Gafford. I could see this as a possible play-in team, but I don't see this as a team that scares the crap out of anybody. Granted, I don't think the Lakers necessarily scare the crap out of people. They definitely do need to get a big in there because right now Jackson Hayes and Dorian Finney-Smith are not it. I think Dorian Finney-Smith is a really good player. But when you're telling me I've got Luka and LeBron on the same floor,
mm-hmm.
Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura are going to eat on this team because Luka, as much as he can score, was a triple-double machine.
Mm-hmm.
So now LeBron doesn't have to exert as much rebounding and assisting or scoring. Luka can now defer and make people better. Hachimura gets to grow. Austin Reeves gets to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I could see them in the playoffs this year. I don't know if they win a title, but I think, as Tavia said, Luka Doncic being on the Lakers makes them even more attractive than just having an aging LeBron James. And I think a lot more than LeBron James and Anthony Davis. LeBron, in maybe his last year next year with Luka, I think is very attractive to people wanting to come in and probably be the help that LeBron needs to win one more title.
I agree.
Winning no more damn championships. That's over.
Yeah, he might not win. He might not win another one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But again, for trade deadline is tomorrow. You'll get more information on this as we do. But moving on
for more basketball content, you could hit up our new show, a part of the Yerrrr network. Run the break.
The Run the Break podcast.
Knicks might be trading Jericho Sims.
For more basketball chat from the Yerrrr Sports Show, please visit the Yerrrr Sports Show page where you'll find more clips of the Run the Break podcast than you find of the Yerrrr Sports Show podcast. But nevertheless, I'll digress.
I'm not sure because I'm sure the Yerrrr Sports Show has at least 2,500 of the clips versus the little 10 clips of the Run the Break podcast.
Whatever.
But moving on to the most important game of the year.
Wait, before we get started, I just want to say,
mm-hmm.
and I need my camera on for this, but so I'm stalling. I'm doing something. So,
okay.
I just want to say, this year, you know who's going to win the NBA Finals?
LeBron James.
Doesn't matter. That's what you about to say? Yeah. There you go.
I was going to say these nuts, but these nuts.
Not these nuts.
Yeah.
You hate the NBA.
I know. Stop saying I hate the NBA. I'm a basketball fan. I am an assistant basketball coach. I've played basketball. You get what I'm saying? I've watched basketball longer than both of you. You get what I mean? But I just have to say, like, once LeBron hangs it up, I'm not as invested. I'm just going to be real. I'm not going to be as invested. I'm only watching.
I think there's players to be invested in.
I'm here to watch the Kang.
The Kang.
Jonathan Majors?
Mm. Mm-mm. Not that Kang.
Not that.
Not Martin Luther King. So, how about you guys had a concerted effort to cheat me out of pick 6? But the queen does what the queen always does. She comes back with a vengeance.
I still got a chance. I have a
You
very
don't have a
outside
chance.
I still
We're
have a chance.
done.
No.
Yeah.
No, because if you pick the wrong winner for the Super Bowl and I pick the
If you
right
pick
winner,
Peter,
I could still pull this out. It could be it's the miracle of God. Okay, but I can still do this.
Peter. I'm not tying with nobody. We were not prepared for this far down into deep waters.
I will play you in basketball. I will play you inside. I'm not mad. I'm not scared. I'm not going to trivia. No Jack Tunney here. Decathlon this. Uh-huh.
So I see you really want a crackhead to come visit your wedding.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus.
I think the best way to settle this is for you to forfeit. I mean, I don't think there's anything else left to do.
Forfeit. But I will have you playing in Pelican Bay before I forfeit.
Listen.
This is not how I thought this conversation was going to go at all.
No.
I still have a chance.
I won.
Black Jesus.
Listen,
I still have a chance.
Peter, I'm not going to say how it can be done. I'm sure Tay knows how it can be done. But really, you're probably not winning. So
you don't know who she's going to pick for the Super Bowl.
So I just want to let you guys know, not only am I the queen of this show, I'm the queen of a lot of things, but I'm the comeback queen too. Because y'all counted me out. Y'all changed the rules. Y'all switched up on some games. You played a really dirty game, Rosado.
I didn't do nothing.
You played a dirty game, Rosado. You played a dirty, dirty game. And you know what? The queen persevered. She persevered. The queen gonna do what the queen gonna do always. So I feel, and I believe that as the person who's won this game the most, you get what I'm saying? I feel like you should just forfeit. You don't want to see what's on the other side of the race.
If you lose,
I'm not lose. I said it with the strength of 10,000 nights. I'm not losing this year.
We also did say, and this was written down, if there happens to be a tie at the end, the person who's been in first place the most is the winner.
I'm winning.
So we did. I did meant to put that at the beginning.
I'm picking the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
I think we all know who Tavia's picking to win the Super Bowl. I think we all know. I'm not going to say it, but I think we all know who Tavia's picking.
Who you think I'm going to pick?
I'm not going to say nothing.
I mean, at this point, it really don't matter. But
you know who I pick? I picked a little
Johnny. Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I used to really like Tony Romo on commentary, but something about his voice this season has really triggered me.
Tony Romo is the Chris Webber of football commentary.
I am done.
So, Peter, how does it feel to have been, what were you 5 points up? Or 3 points up? And you sat in your recliner on that fateful Sunday.
Yes. And
how did it feel to put your crusty feet up, right? Expecting to have this gloating episode of the show, thinking that you won, right? How did it feel the moment you knew that the queen came back with a vengeance? Now, mind you, I almost wavered. I was this close. I asked for advice. I prayed. I meditated. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go with this team. Maybe I shouldn't go with that team. But I hung as strong as only the queen could. and I overtook you by 3 points, right?
No, you did, and I wasn't. Listen. I was not mad at it because, as I said here live on that show, I said, "Listen, I am riding with the Washington Commanders and standing on the business. I've been riding with them all year, and I'm not going to flip flop now. And I am not upset at the fact that they lost. I'm not upset at the fact that I picked them, because that's what happens when you are willing to double down and ride on what you feel and what you believe, right? A lot
So
of
you
people.
trying to make yourself the Rocky and me the Drago?
I'm not saying you Drago. What I'm saying is I stood on what I believe, and I'm okay with taking that L with the Washington Commanders and losing those points.
So take the L completely and fucking forfeit then. I mean,
What
I
I
don't
was
understand.
the only one I was upset with was the Bills, obviously losing to Kansas City, because I felt like, you know what, that was a toss up, but it was what it was. The Bills cost themselves that game, but I was fully prepared going into the weekend to get one of two. I thought I'd get the Bills over Kansas City, and I was completely okay if I would have lost the Commanders game. The fact that I lost both of those games was bothersome because the Bills upset me. But I'm not upset about it. You were up by 3 points, right? No, wait, you're up by
3 points.
Yes, you're up by 3.
Mm-hmm.
Up by 3 points. So, like I said, it comes down to the Super Bowl, and I would rather end in a score tie and you win based on the tiebreaker. I would rather go down to that very itty bitty bit of minutia than sit here and say, I'm going to forfeit beforehand, and then I could have tied. Yeah, you still win on technicality, but I'd rather take a technical knockout than not come out the corner for the 12th round. So I'm going to come out the corner for the 12th round. And I'm either gonna get knocked out because you picked the right
Start
team,
the
I
rapture.
picked the wrong team,
No.
or it's gonna be a TKO and you win on technicality.
I'm winning either way.
But I'm fine with winning as long as I do it the right way. I'm no punk bitch. I'm not coming out. I'm not coming out for the 12th round. I'm not Tyson. I'm not gonna sit down and lay down for somebody. I'm coming out and I'm gonna take this loss either on the ground or on technicality. But I'm fighting to the end.
Okay.
Queen, how do you feel about that?
Okay. I see you wanted you could either do it the easy way or you could do it the hard way. I see you wanted the hard way. All right. I'm making a phone call. I'm making a phone
my
call.
My Lambo's
right
blue.
now.
This is what I'm doing.
Well, speaking
I'm
of,
sending out a text message.
I'm coming out here like Riley Freeman. I don't care. I'm
coming on Friday,
including Santa
April
Claus.
18th
Oh
at approximately 8:30 p.m. I need a favor.
Oh my God. I need a favor.
You got me? Question mark. I have
Peter, as soon as I see someone that I believe to be a crackhead, I'm leaving. I'm all right, let's go.
It's gonna be the red wedding.
Mm-mm.
I'm not picking my pick on air.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
I'm gonna be real with you. I also don't see the Chiefs winning. Even though Travis Kelce,
Officer Murphy.
No, he looked like Malibu's most wanted yesterday going to New Orleans. He got the damn tapered beard. He got the Dominican beard back.
Oh, he backed the
Ching.
Okay.
Oh yeah. He won some urban adjacent outfit as he was getting off the plane.
Urban adjacent is crazy.
So I believe that he's primed for a monster game. But I also think Saquon is primed for a monster game. Something about Patrick Mahomes this year is really just not it for me. But anyway, Peter, you want it the hard way? You want to get it the hard way. I ain't going to argue no more. I ain't going to threaten no more. You see, I only threatened you because I care about you. Just so that you know the depths to hell in which I would drag this. This pick 6 or pick 5 win is going to be my most obnoxious win of all. Because you counted me out.
I didn't count you out.
So what the hell did you do
In
then?
fact, I told Dre, I said and I said this even the year that I won, I have to pad my lead because I know Tay is going to come back. I know Tay is going to find a way. I never count Tavia out. I always know that it's going to come down like the Bills and the Chiefs. It's always going to come down to Tavia coming back around. And you're gonna have to see her in the playoffs. You're gonna have to see her sometime when the stakes are the highest. So I never count you out. So I always know, like if I have a lead, I gotta pad that lead as much as possible because I gotta give myself as much room as I can. Because I know if I keep it close, that's a problem. You don't do that.
But I had the lead 90% of the season.
You did, and I had to keep building back up. And when I made that
But who
run,
told you to do all that though?
I needed to.
You need it for what?
That's the dog in me.
The
That's the
dog in you?
Bronx in me.
Oh, that's the Bronx in you? All
That's
right.
the Bronx in me.
So you're gonna get it the dirty way, the
Don't
Bronx.
nothing stop us but fire, and even that don't stop us.
Yeah, nothing
We not
stops
LA.
y'all. Nothing stops y'all but crack. Crack.
We not Los Angeles. Fire don't stop us.
Mm-hmm. Nothing stops y'all but crack.
Not even the crackheads.
Mm-hmm.
Not even the crack. We look like Brownsville.
Oh, you talking big shit. All right, I got you, bitch. All right. Yo, Brownsville looks like Buckingham Palace compared to some places that I've seen in the Bronx.
Nah, the Bronx.
Brownsville looks like Bronx smells like cum and failure.
Yo,
nah.
What?
Yeah.
Nah. Not even.
Smells like cum and failure.
Every time I open the news, and there's something decrepit happening,
it's always in the Bronx. It's always in the Bronx.
Always in Brooklyn.
Always in the Bronx.
Always in Brooklyn.
Always in the damn Bronx.
Y'all
always robbing somebody. Y'all always taking stuff that's not yours. Y'all the reason why Trump is targeting. Y'all the reason why Trump is targeting us. Because
not us.
Yeah, it's the Bronx.
You know those Republicans live in Brooklyn. The white Republicans live in Brooklyn.
They all live in Staten Island.
That too, but they live in Brooklyn too.
Yeah, because they live in Brooklyn, and they pointing all the ICE people to the Bronx.
Oh yeah, of course, we got all the immigrants because we welcome it like that. We open our arms. We take the poor, the tired, the hungry. Unlike Brooklyn, that just gentrify every area that's poor, tired, and hungry.
Let them gentrify.
All right, bitch. That's enough. that's enough. All right.
You know what? I woke up this morning and I didn't see not one ice cream.
Too many white people in Coney Island for me. I feel too unsafe. Too many white people.
You know, I have my own theories about that. Let me tell you something. I don't feel yo.
There are areas of Brooklyn that I go to nowadays where I don't feel safe because there's not enough black and brown people. There's not enough people of color. When I was growing up,
when I be around too many blacks and browns, I be feeling a little, clutch.
I mean, listen, I get that too. I get that too. But like when I was growing up, there were areas of Brooklyn that yes were considered dangerous, or you don't go to this place at this time or this one. But I always knew there were rules that you follow, and if you follow those rules, don't nobody got a problem with you. Now,
I got a problem with you. What the fuck you gonna do about it?
Let's go. We scrapping that.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It will be my fucking pleasure.
Let's go. At the squat rack. Let's go.
It will be my fucking pleasure.
We're going to scrap at the deadlift rack.
You made my day. Oh, you made my day. Let's squabble up. It's going to be a rocky road. Daddy's home.
Okay. But mommy always come out on top.
And daddy always finishes first. All over the place.
That's not good. In honor of Matt. Ayo,
Peter. When I blow my load, I don't want to hear nothing.
Not blowing your load. We ain't out here talking. Matt, where you at, Matt? We out here talking about blowing loads. Matt, where you at, bro?
He just threatened. He asked for it.
You did.
When you see a bunch of crackhead strippers come out at your wedding, don't say nothing. I don't want to hear it.
I don't gotta say nothing. Shanice's gonna blow a top. Shanice's gonna go. She gonna go ape shit on everybody.
I leave no casualties.
I'm leaving. Like
Dre trying to protect his +1.
Himself.
Yes, myself. Out. Not
When
playing.
you see the doors open and the queen floats into that wedding, oh man.
Floats in on a cloud.
Let's go. Look. You see this? You see this move right here? Yeah, that's gonna be me. Just getting the fuck on because I don't got time. I don't have time. I don't have time for what Shanice is gonna do. I don't got time for what the crackhead's gonna do. I don't got time to see Jay floating around with the crackhead munchkins around.
Let me tell you something. I gave up on the crackhead.
I don't got
You know
time
what?
to see them
I'm
beating
gonna
up
get
on
y'all.
Pete.
I'm fucking with the Adderall people.
Why is this a y'all thing? I eliminated myself.
I am the Adderall people, though.
Peter said that he wants to scrap with me.
Yeah, so that's
at
on Peter.
Rack,
that's
at
not
the deadlift rack.
No.
Peter, you cannot.
You weren't specific when you first said that. You weren't specific when you first said that, Pete. So you know how. Listen, she heard Squabble, and you know her song is Squabble Up. So you got to deal with that now. You. We're not French here. There's no we here. It's you.
Oh baby, it's gonna be a tough day at the office.
But moving forward, the Super Bowl is coming up. Most important game of the year. The referees were actually in the news recently, and they basically said they feel offended that they keep being told that they are basically helping the Chiefs to win.
I mean, if the shoe fits. I mean, to be honest with you, there were some questionable calls. I'm not even gonna hold you.
All season has been questionable.
Yeah, they've been some questionable calls.
Mm-hmm.
Like these roughing the passers, these calls. I don't see them. Like I think it's like 50-50, honestly. You know, I think it's 50-50. But guys, I have to jump. I'm tired. I have to strategize. And yeah. I thought I would have been declared the victory tonight, but I guess he went this the hard way. Pete, what's your favorite color?
I don't have a favorite color.
At all?
I ain't giving away that information right now. It's against my religion.
Okay. Peter, where your church at?
With God.
Okay. If I pop up at your Bible study, don't say nothing.
Not you coming to the house of the Lord. Not y'all coming
pop up at the Bible study. Oh my gosh.
Be like, guess who, bitch? It's me.
It's me, bitches.
It's me. Oh my God.
Oh, say no more.
I think we should wrestle at your no, I don't no.
Absolutely. No. Stop saying things. Stop saying things that don't apply to your life no more, please.
I'm gonna get you, Peter. And when I get you, I'm gonna get you good. You're never gonna forget my name.
I don't forget it now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm scared.
You should be.
I'm scared.
You told me to squabble up. It is my life's joy to squabble up. It brings me so much, like, excitement. Like, I feel like a kid on Christmas Eve.
Why do I feel like Tavia and Suge Knight have the same kind of feelings about these things?
You're going to be squabbling.
I feel like I'm about to end up like Biggie and Pac, never found again.
You might. I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors because I have nothing to do with this. We will have I just know we will have a Pete Rosado Memorial Show on the Yerrrr Sports Show. God forbid, but just know. just know. I'm gonna get a shirt with wings. Peter.
Really miss my wigger.
Oh my gosh.
Not you offending me and then try to sell me some Girl Scout cookies. You can't write a better script. It's like, yeah, I want beef with Tay. But
By the way,
yeah, just
by the way, just maybe you don't.
just drop that in there real quick.
Just,
all right, y'all. I gotta jump. I have a business call actually.
Do what you gotta do, Tay.
Do you think?
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace. So, Peter, before your last game, pick 6, which you don't have to pick. You don't have to pick a game, but
I know who I'm picking though, and I could win. Yeah. I could still win.
Yeah.
In theory, I know I lose on technicality.
In theory, you lose on technicality, and it was a good run, but I don't think much needs to be said about this Super Bowl other than what are the keys to for you, right? And I'll let you end the show on this. What are 3 keys to victory for each team, starting with the underdog, the Kansas City Chiefs?
For the Chiefs, it's play your game, right? You've been here before. So is the Eagles, but you've been here before. You are the champion, right? Essentially, do not let the narrative get to you. Do not worry about it being 3 in a row or this, that, and whatever. It's the first one, right? Play your game. Don't force the ball where it doesn't need to be forced. And just control the line. I think this is a team that you got to understand, like, you're not going to stop Saquon Barkley. Kind of have to approach this game a lot about how a lot of teams approached, Jordan and Kobe. Let them go off because they can't beat you by themselves if you're stopping everything else, right? You're going to have some times where you're going to be able to make plays on Saquon. But at the same time, you have to play your game, right? So if Saquon busts out a big run and gives him a touchdown, cool. Time of possession, control the clock, control the ball, get your score back, give them the ball back. But now they have to work with urgency because there's less time on the clock. And that's what I think is also a thing that if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you want Saquon to bust out the big runs, get early scores, get a nice head of steam and a good momentum. But at the same time, you got to remember that when that happens, you end your drive early, which means you have less time of possession, which means if the other team is on the field for a long time, when you get back on the field, you have to do a lot more with less time. So if you are the Kansas City Chiefs, your goal is to maximize time of possession and minimize the amount of opportunities that the Philadelphia Eagles have to break out those big plays. And really just making sure that if you shut down A.J. Brown, if you shut down the wide receivers, if you don't give Jalen Hurts opportunities to move the chains, and you just let Saquon do what he's going to do, I think you're going to stand a good chance of winning this game. But if you're focusing on trying to stop Saquon Barkley and not letting him have a big game, you forget that Jalen Hurts can still run. He's had now 2 weeks to rest up. He's still got A.J. Brown. He's still got wide receivers. He's still got a good tight end. He can still move the ball. And now, by the time you're on your heels trying to stop the pass, he's going to give the ball to Saquon, and Saquon's going to get through the hole. So you got to pick the battle here. And I think the battle is shutting down the passing game, doing what you can with Saquon, but not really focusing on trying to shut him down, and play your game and control time of possession.
And and What are your 3 keys for the Eagles?
Defensively, make Patrick Mahomes have to, get out the pocket, make him have to scramble. You got to break through that offensive line. Kelsey's going to be Kelsey. I think your big worry is Xavier Worthy shutting down the speedster on the outside, because when Xavier Worthy spreads that field, it makes the inside and middle routes for Travis Kelsey a lot better. Stay away from incidental contact in the passing game. I think that is something that the Chiefs really do rely on. They rely on very physical play from the defenses that they face, and they get a lot of those pass interference calls. I can't tell you how many times I was watching that Bills-Chiefs game, and it was just like pass interference, pass interference, pass interference. And it's like, y'all are just giving them yards, right? The Chiefs didn't have to have big offensive plays because you were giving them free offense and free yardage. And the Chiefs know how to strike when they get the opportunities to. But I don't want you to play off and play soft, but make sure that you're being smart in the way that you're defending these guys. Understand that the Chiefs are looking for contact. It's a lot like what we were talking about with James Harden when he shoots threes, or when Reggie used to shoot threes. They kick the leg out because they're looking for you to make contact. They play in such a way to initiate contact. They manipulate their body in a specific way to try to give the illusion or initiate incidental contact, which then leads to them getting the call. The wide receivers and Travis Kelsey as well on the Kansas City Chiefs do the same thing. They know how to position themselves for catches where they know they're not going to catch the ball, but the way that you're defending them is going to create contact, which is going to make for pass interference. So now they've got a 20-yard pass when not a single pass was complete. So it's about playing smart defensively. It's about controlling the offensive line and letting Saquon get his holes, because that's what's going to open up your passing game for you, and not trying to do too much. If for some reason they're shutting down Saquon, pivot and go to the passing game. Don't try to get too cute. Don't try to just, hey, we know Saquon, just going to keep giving the ball. Say, know what you have. The Eagles have a lot of players. I still do think these are the 2 most paper teams in the playoffs. In the Super Bowl, in my opinion, 2 teams that had pretty weak schedules. So play to your strengths, right? Saquon Barkley right now is the number 1 strength. And if you want to lean on him even as a decoy so that Jalen Hurts and that offense can get rolling, do that as well. And just maximize possessions. That's going to be a big thing as well. One reason why they were so effective in that Washington Commanders game is because every time they had the ball, they scored, especially in that first half. And they were creating turnovers. And that's going to be the 3rd key for me. It's play smart defensively, control that offensive line, and maximize your opportunities on offense. And thirdly, create turnovers. If you can create turnovers, create urgency for Patrick Mahomes, I think you stand a very good chance of winning this game.
Absolutely, I agree. I think real quick, my keys is for the Chiefs would be to get ahead early. You want to get ahead early and play early, because in these Super Bowl games, have we seen Patrick Mahomes usually has to play from behind, and that's really exerting to him at the point of sometimes in one Super Bowl, he got injured after playing from behind. And you don't want that. You want to make sure Patrick Mahomes is as healthy as he can be, and he's able to, play the full length of the game, right? Second, get Kelsey involved early. If you get Kelsey involved early, you can potentially go back to my first key and end the game early enough to where you can take the life out of the Eagles. Third, you're not going to stop Saquon Barkley, but you have to literally make sure if you're gonna let Saquon beat you, make sure he doesn't score a touchdown. Make sure he doesn't score. If Saquon is gonna beat you on the ground, make sure it is pointless yards. You can have 250 yards on the ground. But with no scores and you're only leaving them the field goals, the 250 yards don't mean anything if you're going to score, if you're scoring touchdowns. Right? So, again, for the Chiefs, get active early and try to blow them out. Get Kelsey involved early, and pretty much, if you're going to let Saquon beat you, make sure it's not for any touchdowns. For the Eagles, it's hard enough to say, but you have to contain. You have to find a way to contain and stay away from penalties. That's what that's the number one. Stay away from penalties. Penalties has been the Achilles heels for most teams that have played against the Chiefs this year. Say what we want, whether the refs are, this or black magic or whatever it is. The Chiefs know how to get teams penalties. They know how to get penalty yards. You just alluded to it, saying that the receivers know how to put themselves in position to where they may not catch it, but they may catch you for a call. So a 20-yard pass with no completion is really just 20 yards moving forward due to a flag, right? For the Eagles, get your receivers involved early. A.J. Brown, you have to get him involved early. He is your ace on the outside. They haven't really been using him much. As you said earlier, the Eagles have not passed the ball a lot this year. They haven't had to pass the ball a lot this year either when you have Saquon Barkley running for almost 200 yards every game. But I'm not saying have an out-of-body experience, Jalen Hurts, but you have to get your other teammates involved. It can't just be the Saquon show. And the tush push is cool, but you also you have to get everybody else involved. Third key for the Eagles, and most importantly, finish the game. Do not be like these teams who get ahead early and find a way to let Patrick Mahomes come back. If you do, we don't know what to tell you because he is good for playing from behind. Pause, Matt. But he is good for having comeback victories in the Super Bowl, in the playoffs. Anytime your team is up 10, it is always a red flag because you know that Patrick Mahomes is about to turn up. You want to finish the game. Finish your food and get this win. You are the Eagles. You are the key to making sure this man does not complete the three-peat. And I'm not hating, right? Historical purposes, it'd be nice to see a football team get a three-peat, right? But with the hate in my heart, now, and me being a fickle football fan, I'm tired of seeing them win. But that is all for the Yerrrr Sports Show this week. Follow us on social media platforms at the Yerrrr Sports Show. Follow all our shows on Apple Podcasts. Just look up the Yerrrr Sports Show Network. You will see every episode of the Yerrrr Sports Show, the Run and Break podcast, Tea Time, and the Dog Days of Baseball podcast. All of them, all on their own separate feeds. So if you want to listen to baseball, you got your baseball right there. You want to listen to us chop it up about bullshit and love and life and everything like that, that's what you got for Tea Time. If you want to talk the X's, the O's, of basketball, and our opinions, you got the Run and Break podcast. And you want everything into one big conglomerate of everything, you have the Yerrrr Sports Show. Once again, congratulations to Peter for getting married soon, April 18th. That is his WrestleMania right there for sure. He will have his WrestleMania every year on April 18th.
That is my WrestleMania moment.
That is his WrestleMania moment on the weekend of WrestleMania. Of course, I don't think we would have it any other way for a fan of wrestling. The only thing that will catch me by surprise if I see Peter come out with pyro. I will
I can't afford a pyro. Can't afford a pyro.
It's $130 something, but
Not at these prices.
Yeah.
No, if I get the Gilbert pyro, yeah.
Oh yeah. We'll talk to Wolf. Wolf will probably get you a deal on some pyro.
Gilbert pyro would be good.
But shout out to the Yerrrr Sports Show Network. Shout out to our partners in the Yerrrr Sports Show Network. Our friends from Backstage Brawl, People Champ Randy and Grizz. You can catch the Backstage Brawl every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Saturdays when there are PLEs or pay-per-views at 3 p.m. as well.
And security, why are they always brawling backstage? Is there nobody? Is this AEW?
I don't know. It's not the parking lot in NXT though, so that's the most dangerous place in wrestling. But speaking of wrestling, again, shouts to We Are Wrestling. The return is imminent. Your inaugural tag team champion, the Wise Brother, will be back soon.
We are working on some things, that is for sure.
Yeah, we are definitely working on some things. And shouts to again, the partner of We Are Wrestling. Let me make sure I get it right. Peter, your partners in
yes, from the Bronx. From the Bronx, they also operate the Bronx Beer Hall in on Arthur Avenue, the Bronx. You haven't been there yet, please go to the Bronx Beer Hall. They're open 6 days a week, closed on Mondays. Looking to do some big things with them in 2025 as well, possibly even host some watch parties there if possible in 2025 at the Bronx Beer Hall, and also follow them at From the Bronx. Check out their merchandise. It's also the home for all the exclusive We Are Wrestling merchandise, including our t-shirts and our trucker hats, which were just released at the end of the year at our November show. We're looking at making more merch, and it will all be through From the Bronx. So make sure you catch them on IG, all social media platforms. From the Bronx. Really cool stuff. Even if you're not a Bronx head or a New York head, really cool merch.
Absolutely. So for BK Matt, for the Queen Tay, who has threatened us multiple times within the past month and a half with these crackhead sightings. And for the person who will receive those crackheads, the voice of a generation, Pete Rosado, it is your boy, the Wise Brother A.R. Jones, a.k.a. Big Baby, signing off. Peace.
Praise up.